Your name is?
Elya Baskin.
And people recognize your face, but what films would they remember you from?
I don't know, I did about 70 different.
Moscow on the Hudson.
Was one of the first ones, right?
2010.
Which is next year, right? Yeah, we thought it was like, it looked so far away in '85 when we did it, and it's next year.
Most Americans think that Russia is pretty much out of the picture as an enemy of the United States, and they don't see China as an enemy to the United States. How do you feel coming from Russia and being an American now for probably the majority of your life? Is that right?
Yeah, I really don't see them as enemy. I mean, enemy is a very. I mean, I don't think that Russians want the destruction of the United States or our way of life. I think it's more. They feel like they're underdog. They feel like they used to feel like one of the greatest empires of the world, superpower, and now all of a sudden they are not. And it's more like a very competitive feeling, and that's why it's this dislike of everything American. It's not because they hate us because of the way we are. I think they just want to be better than us.
Would that include taking us down a few pegs?
I think so. They wouldn't mind. I mean, it's like, it's a very Russian mentality when you have a neighbor who is doing better than you. Instead of trying to do better and be like your neighbor, you try to put your neighbor down.
So, for example, to cause harm to the American economy?
Whatever you can. I mean, yeah, well, whatever you can, you do. I really don't think that it's not somebody who wants you dead. It's not like Muslims who just want every Jew dead. I don't think that Russians have this agenda in their mind, but they want to be better than Americans. And if they cannot achieve it themselves, they would like to see Americans have problems with the economy, have problems with whatever, yeah.
You think that they're helping Iran, for example, in an attempt to cause damage to America's ally, Israel?
I'm not qualified to tell you that. I don't know. I think it's much more complicated. I think that they are much more interested in their own self-interest. Iran is a great market for one of the few things that they can sell. It's their weapons, their oil, and that's basically what I think. But to give you a more qualified answer, I can't. They take Fox News all day long. Most likely I wouldn't be satisfied because it's the same cliche after cliche, the same talking points that I hear. So I switch to CNN, and then I go back to Fox, and that's how I form my opinion. And I mean, talking about television news, but of course, I mean, you have to do some more research if the topic is something that you're interested in.
Well, how about CNN? It used to be that Americans could trust CNN to be 100% objective, but during the election, it seemed like they
took Obama's side, and it was very obvious. But I didn't feel like I want to dismiss them at all. I mean, I wanted to see the other side, and. Thank God there's an opposition. Otherwise, I mean, we would have one-party system, and I lived in one-party system. I don't want it again.
Americans used to see their media as objective, not part of any party. But do you see that has changed lately?
It all depends who you're talking about. I mean, I don't think that any serious person would get all the information strictly from television. I mean, there is so much more. Like for last 48 hours, there is. I mean, believe me, I'm very upset with Michael Jackson's death, but there are other things that happen in the world at the same time. And Fox News devotes like 90% of time to Michael Jackson, they asked people on the street, how do you feel about it? I mean, what do they want to hear? Oh, I feel great about it. Of course, everybody feels bad. I mean, he's a human being. He is unfortunate. Had an unfortunate life. I mean, fortunate and unfortunate life. And instead of talking about so many things that happen today, every day in the world, they dedicate 80% of their time to Michael Jackson. And the same thing with Fox was with, what's her name? There was a lady in the coma, I forgot her name.
What can Americans learn from what Russians have had to have learned?
You have to learn to read between the lines. And that's always what we as youth knew, that the official press will write one thing and the BBC or Voice of America will say something else, and then you'll figure out where the truth is if you can. It's not that easy. It's not that easy because I mean, there is somebody who is in power today, and there is an opposition, and everybody has some partial truth that they're telling. I mean, it's not always 100% lie on this side or 100% lie on the other side. So there's partial truths everywhere, and it's up to you, I think.
How do you feel about Hollywood's reluctance to assume other than liberal perspectives on what movies are made?
I think that the majority of Hollywood, you're right, but there are a lot of closet conservatives that I see more and more among people in my industry. And I'll tell you, even Clinton Democrats today, to me, look like conservatives. Today, yeah, right. So, as you just heard John was saying about people are voting Democrats and because their parents did, their grandparents did, they really do it just traditionally. But there are so many things that a lot of people in Hollywood share with me and you and with John. We're talking about objectivity in the media, so it's...
Love this guy's voice. The timbre.
The timbre.
It's not to do the accent, it's the...
No, I don't have an accent. Do I have an accent?
No, I have the accent.
Oh, okay.
But it's just... Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.